Hello and welcome in. It is Wednesday. We are live. This is your Wednesday live chat for all things whatever. I don't care. Time's yours. It's not mine. We've got the Procore Championship, the event formerly known as the Fortnite Championship, formerly known as the Safeway Open, formerly known as the Fries.com Championship, formerly known as the Fries Invitational, something like that. But we are kicking it off in Napa this week. The FedEx Fall, very strong field, or at least a very top-heavy field. The other event, BMW PGA Championship overseas, just elite field. That's Rory and Hideki and Victor and Rahm and Neiman and all those guys teeing it up over there. So we can talk about that as well. There's actually some pretty decent DFS contests for that event. There are also obviously wagers to be made on that side of things. But this time is yours. So get your questions, your concerns, your comments in the chat right now. We will go through this as much as possible. I have a couple of small announcements and things that we need to do. I need to give away $500 that I promised at the end of last year, or at the conclusion of the season. And we need to pick a winner for that. We'll get there in just 1 second, but let me do this first. Let me get on my hands and knees and beg for 1 second, because a listener league on Splash is just reeking of overlay right now. There is I don't think any way that we fill this thing, quite honestly. I would like to be wrong. We are usually at much better pace than we are right now. This has been shrunken. 445 entries. We're only a third of the way there on Wednesday afternoon. That is not a good sign. I know everybody's focused on football, but listen, number one player in the world is here. 10 of the top 10 of the 12 U.S. players of the Ryder Cup are here. Somebody's going to win this money. It's completely guaranteed. So I'd love to not have this overlay, but if you're going to get access to the overlay, at least it's Splash's money and not my money. $25 an entry. Somebody's going to win $2,000. And obviously there's payouts for the top 25. You pick one golfer from each of 6 tiers, and it's a lot of fun. We got them pretty big last year, and I want to continue that because I'm going to ask for a massive amount of money for our one and done. And I want to be able to say, hey, we can do this. So links in the description, go fill that up for me real quick. Weather. Let's go there next. This is the forecast for Napa, and it is just vintage Napa, right? I mean, the wind's coming in every day in the afternoon, getting up to 10 miles an hour. It is not going to be an issue, right? Because everybody's going to have to deal with it on both Thursday and Friday. There is unlikely to be any type of weather advantage. This is just a very, very good forecast for the rest of the week. Is Splash available in New Jersey? It's a good question. So if you go to Splash and you go to the bottom, I might have to zoom. Actually, I might have to get out of this. Zoom, go to the bottom. Where can I play? Let's click on that button. And then we'll go to tiers in New Jersey. Looks like, yes, it is, Michael. Have at it. Good luck. There's only a handful of states that it's not available in, and then most of Canada it is available in, everywhere besides Quebec. So enjoy that. The other thing is, Trevor says the Splash problem is that they don't show golf in the lobby this week. Ooh, that is a good call. I might have to reach out to somebody. Yeah, there is usually, you're right. Are we the only golf contest of the week? So usually there would be a golf page here. Usually it would be featured. Maybe, oh, here it is. Scroll all the way down, but you're right. It is hard to find. We are one of the very few PGA contests for this week. 3 of them, ours and 2 from Splash. We have by far the largest guaranteed purse. All right. Well, listen, I'm happy that we're the only ones, but let's go fill it up. All right. You want to pick winners? You want to give away $500? Should we do that? So if you don't remember what this is from January of last year. We created a PGA Tour fantasy league, and I said, let's get as many people as we can. We ended up getting a lot. I don't have the exact number here in front of me. 1,000 maybe? 800, 900? I don't know. But we ended up getting a lot, and I'm very happy for that. And I said, if you beat me, if you finish ahead of me in the season, I will pick one of you to win $500. So all you had to do was beat me. Melly Kick won the whole thing. Congratulations. Beat out, actually, why was Melly Kick ranked above? Let me try this again. It doesn't matter for the $500 purposes, but I want to make sure. Overall segment. Through the Tour Championship. See, why does Melly Kick has 14,324 points, but Big T Mac Attack has more, but he's listed as second. I don't, because I'm sorting by, there we go. There we go. Okay. But rank would still be fine, right? God, I got to make sure I pick the right person now. Now I'm very confused. Hold on a second. So I was ranked. See, that was also my confusion. We're going to have to do this together now. So we got 1,100 teams. I was ranked 199. But see, this is my tournament rank. I want the overall. Oh, here we go. Overall. All right. Whew. Crisis averted. We've got it figured out. So 199th I was. So there are 198 people who are going to be eligible for this prize. Now that means I need to adjust my wheel of spin real quick. Okay, so 198. Here we go. So I need to go to wheel of names, and I need to add some more names here real quick. 178, 179. Oh, this is really boring, I'm sure. But what I'm doing is I'm putting the your finishing position in here, and then I am going to spin this wheel. And if I grab your finishing position, you are the winner. And if there are ties, I'm going to count down, right? So we're going to just be like, okay, well, that's, there's 3 people tied here, but I picked this number, and we'll just count it down. You'll see how this is going to work. But we're going to draw the winner right now. 198, is that right? It is. All right. Whew. Things were getting crazy there for a second. I'm going to spin this once and one time only. The number will be corresponding to the leaderboard. I will then go and find that name, and then I will get in touch with you, or you'll have to get in touch with me. Here we go. Winner, $500 out of my pocket is number 111. Congratulations. Let's see who that is. This might be a tie situation. No, it's not. Mort00. Congratulations. You have won 500 Rick bucks. They are the same amount as USD, and I will either Venmo it to you or I will PayPal it to you. Those are the only 2 options. I will find a way to get in touch with you, or you get in touch with me. That might be a little bit easier. Send me an email. But eMort00, congratulations. All right, let's get to work. Trevor says, I can't seem to put together a Scottie lineup that I don't hate. Any thoughts on some of the 6K guys that you like? All right, let's do this. Scottie Scheffler is $14,400. If you go straight to the 6K range, there are a couple of names that I think are interesting, and I'll give you a couple of reasons of why that might be. David Lipsky is going to be pretty popular, but at about 9%, but relative to his peers, that's pretty popular. He is someone who has gotten very hot over his last 5 starts. You can see an unbelievable run here over his last 5. The 5 before that were really, really bad. The other thing to consider here is that he's coming off a runner-up finish, and he has made the cut here in 3 of his 4 trips. So I think that is kind of the initial starting point. When I modeled, David Skins popped up a little bit, but the one that actually has made it into a handful of my lineups is Martin Laird. Martin Laird is $6,700. Martin Laird is a ball striking fiend. And this is continued across the PGA Tour and across the DP World Tour. Of course, I've got those strokes gain metrics as well. He played the Irish Open, picked up a stroke and a half on approach. He is horrendous with the putter. The only solace that I can take in that is that he has historically been a very strong putter at Silverado. He's played here like 10 or 12 times. He's only lost strokes 3 times. He's gained in each of his last 2 trips. A lot of experience around here. So I'm trying to marry the historically good, or at least recently good, approach play with the historically good putting is where I'm looking at $6,700. That is as low as I'm comfortable going, I would throw a dart at David Ford, who is a newly minted PGA Tour professional coming off of PGA Tour U. If you wanted to get super frisky, Miles Russell is like, I don't know how old he is, 16, 17, 18. Very, very strong player. I think he's very live to make the cut. He is $6,600 as well. And then I'm really struggling after that. Which is why some of these Scottie lineups look bad. But if you can lean on Laird, if we can get him through the cut line, if we can lean on Lipsky, I would not mind Carl Phillips. I would not mind Jackson Suber. If we can get those guys through, I think it's pretty interesting. I will tell you guys, and I think there was another question coming up here, that I often found myself having to skip out on Scottie. Probably in about 60% of the lineups, I did not have Scottie Scheffler. Okay, so that's the way that I ended up doing it. 40% I did. I think he's still the best player in the world. Rick, during this week's preview, you showed us a course key stats page. Yep, looks like this, which doesn't favor any particular skill set. Not a lot of correlation. What would your custom model look like? And is the answer pick who's hot? Yeah, so I think I did the model on Monday. I don't remember if I saved it, but it is very much one that opens up the recent rounds. Instead of doing something like 36, I would lean towards 50 or 100. If you did want to go with something like, since, everybody in 2025, I would be okay with that as well. And just kind of get some of these, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I want good, long-term players. I'm resetting a lot of guys back. Okay. So we'll use, weighted strokes gained, I think is pretty important. Yeah. We'll just go 25 on weighted strokes gained. And then I am keeping it pretty simple. What do we know always plays well? Approach always plays well. It's always the highest correlated stat to success. You can go on strokes gained approach. You could do that over a shorter period of time. I also just stuck with the scoring stats. You could use implied win percentage or birdies or better gained, something like that. So you're going to see me find a lot of longer term standard stats, throw in some course history. That random model that I just threw those weights in: Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa, 1, 2, 3. Where's Scottie Scheffler to be found? 15th on this list, believe it or not. He doesn't get credit for anything at Silverado. This is his debut. So yeah, I'm leaning on long-term scoring and things that are going to play everywhere, not just things that I think are going to play well here. Tyler is in a swing season one and done that includes the hero. Do I roll out Scottie here, or do I save him for the hero? Ooh, that's strange. So the hero's going to have 18 guys in it. Scottie's won it twice. If I remember correctly, it is a weird payout structure. It's like $1 million for first and like 200,000 for second. They still do it that way, right? Because every single one of those guys gets paid. It's a weird purse. It's not a very big purse. This is only like $6 million. That is a very tough question, Tyler. I'm going to say, I think you have to save him for the hero then, right? I mean, if he is he like 50% to win a field of 18 over 4 rounds? So is his EV like 500 grand? If it is, that's way better than what it is for this week, which I can pull up really quickly here if we go to the tournament predictor. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't show it as much as I should, but the tournament predictor simulates the event 1,000 times. Then based on the finishing positions and the purse that we know in the payouts, it assigns like an EV or like an average earnings. So when I simulated this 1,000 times, Scottie Scheffler on average earned $355K. He is probably more likely to make more at the hero, though he's probably going to have to win it. I think you save him. It's a good question. I have not thought about that ever in my entire life, but I think you should save him. LVL. Every time a PGA Tour weekend is coming with the big boys, I can find the pressers on YouTube on Wednesday. I love that. Why is that not the case with the DP World Tour? Cannot find Rory's full presser. That's just different tours treating things differently. I just read the transcripts. I don't know. I think it's called ASAP Sports. I have it bookmarked. Go look up ASAP Sports. They have all the transcripts. I read Rory's on there. And I have placed a I actually did it in a event contract market. I did buy shares of Team Europe that is equivalent to a couple $100 worth at this point. The thing with these event contracts, and they're new to me. I'm still figuring it out here, but I like that, you're buying shares that you could conceivably get out of, right? So I bought them at a price where the Europeans are like plus 150, plus 160. So if there gets to a point where that gets to even money, if I wanted to, I could sell those shares, right? Like I could get out. I don't have to actually see the outcome, and being in a place where I don't have access to cash outs or anything like that. The event contract market is interesting to me. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with it in the future, how much I'm going to be involved. I've put some futures out there in Major League Baseball, to win the National League, to win the American League, stuff like that. But I wanted to figure out what was going on with event contracts, and I did purchase a few hundred shares of Europe to win.
Oh, hi, sorry.
Wow. Yeah, what are you doing? Are you eating stream?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. Sorry. Hi, guys.
Wow. She just fat fingered added herself to the stream. It looked like a sandwich she was eating. Oh my gosh, that looks good. I'm getting hungry here as well. I thought she was going to drop some news. I thought something happened. I thought there was breaking news that she could not let me go on without. Can you run a model for the BMW PGA Championship? Yes. Let's do it. So if you go to custom model, rickrungood.com, I load in all the slates, right? So you can go and run models. I mean, you could technically run models for the guys on the Ryder Cup or the Korn Ferry Tour event or the Senior Tour. So here is BMW PGA Championship, and you've got to remember there's a lot in play here now. So these guys don't play on the same tours a lot. You've got PGA Tour guys, you've got DP World Tour guys, you've got live golfers. So we do need to really start with a weighted strokes game baseline. I think that's pretty critical. So we'll start with that, and we'll put probably a lot on it, like 30 on there. And you also have to remember that a lot of these guys are not going to have the same complexity or detailed metrics as others in this field. So we need to be smart about that as well. Strokes gained is going to be there for everybody. And the strokes gained breakdown for these three tours should be good. So I think we can feel pretty comfortable about that. So let's go strokes gained off the tee last 24 for 15, and strokes gained approach last 36 for 20. We're going to go with ball striking here. We're then also going to probably just stick with our own little weighted strokes gained situation. So Wentworth, you've got to be a hair savvy around the green. So I'm going to put 15 there. And then I'm going to put, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 10 on last 12 with the putter. And then what I'm also going to do is, where do I have it? Do I have it under strokes gained? I do. My last 10 on how frequently a golfer gains 3 or more strokes to the field. All right. So I'm sticking with the stats that I know everybody has access to. Number 1 is Rahm. Number 2 is Tommy Fleetwood. Number 3 is Rasmus Nedergaard Peterson. Fitzpatrick is 4. Nikolai Højgaard is 5. Rory McIlroy is 6. Ludwig, Marco Penge, Angel Ayora Venegas, and then Rasmus Højgaard rounds out the top 10. Let's do a deep dive on Michael Thorbjornsen. Ben is asking for that. Michael Thorbjornsen. Let's pull him up. $8,000 on DraftKings, projecting around 8%. Really started to play a lot better towards the end of last year. Second half of the year was much better. Tee to green numbers very strong outside of the 3M Open. The putter started to get better. There was a 3-ball that somebody ran across my table, and it was like Thorbjornsen versus it was like 2 older veterans. And I think that this is not a hot take, but like this is probably going to be the best year of Michael Thorbjornsen's career. He's 23 years old. It should be. He should be continually getting better every single time that he tees it up. And I think that he's got a ton of upside, especially in a field like this. The field is, I'm trying to avoid saying it is strong. It is top heavy. There are 10 guys that probably have had no thoughts of playing this event, except for the fact that they're on the US Ryder Cup team. And then after that, it is pretty weak, right? So once you get past like literally Harris English, Davis Thompson, there's some question marks. Akshay didn't have a great end of the year. Huge question mark is Max Homa, right? And those are the next guys. So this is a very top heavy field. Sahith has probably been one of my bigger investments of the week, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad, but at $7,400, I bought in on that as well. Sig was third. Sig was third here last year, I believe. Let's see what Grayson Sig has been up to. I don't think it's very good. Let's find out here. Missed the cut at the Wyndham. That ended his season. The putter has been horrendous. He's lost strokes putting in 5 of his last 6. A lot of missed cuts. He's missed the cut in like 9 out of his last 10. This is very, very bad stuff. So as much as I would like to reset these guys, and this has been a happy hunting ground for him, this is pretty ugly. A little bit of a dart throw there. Last man in, Buckley or Wayne or nah. Oh, it says or Watney. I was like, who the hell is Wayne? I didn't know that one. So Buckley or Watney, or I guess none of those guys. So Buckley is $6,200, and he has been just as bad as Grayson Sig. I'm worried about going this low. The lowest that I would feel remotely comfortable is Martin Laird. If you wanted to do David Ford at 66, fine. I really don't want to go lower than that. If you made me, it would be these ridiculously high upside guys like Kevin Velo, Cristobal del Solar, just as likely to miss the cut. But like, if they get hot, they get hot. The rest of this field is very, very weak. I saw on Instagram you have a cool collection of golf club pencils. Do you only collect pencils from events or places that you played? Are there any pencils you want to get the most? So I had to have been there. I've had to have gotten it myself. I've gotten a lot of people like, oh, hey, I'll send you some pencils from my club. And it's like, that's a slippery slope for me. If I start doing that, I'll be on eBay buying lots of 1,000 of them. And, it'll be ugly quick. So yes, I have to have obtained it in person myself. Of course, Augusta National is the one. I always see them on the first tee. I just want to reach out to that guy, to the green jack, and say, hey man, just pass me one of those. No big deal. Just like pass me one of those. It's no big deal. I've yet to summon the courage to do that. So I have not. Mina competing in her own hero challenge. Yes, she is. I think she's winning. Yeah, it does look good. She must have bought that, because I do not think we have that at home. She did not pack that. She's actually she's working hard on a new project right now, and she has gone away from me at the house so that she can get her focus time in. So she is at a workspace right now. So more to come on that. Oh, love this, Glenn. Love this. Says, can you do a deep dive on Patrick Fishburn? Fishburn made it into way more lineups than I would have possibly imagined he would have before the week started. So Patrick Fishburn has very quietly been putting together a stat sheet that I like a lot. Did not get into the playoffs. Did not have a good year. But starting at the John Deere, he made 5 cuts in a row, which I'm sure is the only time he did that in 2025. The tee to green numbers were great all year long. He picked up 15 strokes putting in his last 4 measured events. He rattled off 2 top 8 finishes in his last 4 starts and 3 top 18s in his last 5 starts. The fall is like Patrick Fishburn time to shine, right? I mean, you think about him playing well here and in Utah and probably somewhere else, right? We're probably going to get 3 top 10s from Patrick Fishburn this fall. And maybe one of them is here. Finished 3rd here last year. So yes, Fishburn has made a pretty significant portion of my lineups. The Homa Damon deep dives. I feel okay about Joel. I think splitting with Gino was probably the right move. And we saw just very small sample size, a little bit of dividends of that. He finished T15 at the Wyndham Championship. Ball striking numbers were good. He started to putt a little bit better at the end of the year. I'm like mildly excited about Damon. Max has me in a pretzel. I think I just want to be excited about Max as opposed to actually being excited about Max. Still hasn't put everything in play. I think the putter's still a problem. I think the short game could still be a problem. I know this is a really good spot for him, but I think I need to see a little bit more. The guy that falls into the category that I mentioned earlier that I'm probably most excited about is Sahith. I'm willing to wipe out I'm willing to wipe out all of his 2025, which was miserable because it was injury related, right? It was he literally hurt himself at TGL. Not great. Oblique at TGL, tried to play through it. It wasn't good. Neck injury wasn't good. When you look at strokes gained on a round by round basis, I think it's Justin Thomas and Sahith that are like basically the best, and Max Homa that are basically the best players at Silverado in their career. There is I have the understanding that Sahith is 100%. So if he's 100% healthy and we just get long-term Sahith again, right? Like this is the new Holy Grail, by the way. Looks a lot like the old one, but just more data in a better fashion. If we just go and do like everybody in this field since 2022 with at least 50 starts, where is Sahith at on this list? Oh, it's not as good as I thought. A half a stroke per round. Well, 2025 really did kind of demolish. Okay, so let me cherry pick this a little bit more. Let's get rid of 2025. If I'm resetting him back to what I think he was, how much does that improve him? Quarter of a stroke per round. Pretty good. So I'm hopeful to reset him. And I think the price is right. I think he was like 80 to 1, $7,500 on DraftKings, something like that. How about this? So you guys saw this. If you read my email newsletter. So you guys are very familiar with Cam Davis. The Davis boys, Ben and Austin and Jason, are talented in their own right. So I've been lucky enough to try out this fantasy game that they have built with official PGA Tour data. And I think this is for sickos, right? I think this is for sickos. It's free. I've made a league. If you want to check it out, I think they're very much in the process of like gathering information and proof of concept and all that stuff. So the way this works is it's called Build a Golfer. So you pick a golfer to be your driver, to be your second shot player, to be your wedge, and to be your putter. So it's like a real sicko type thing. So for this week, I picked Scottie Scheffler as my driver, irons for Sahith, wedges for Austin Eckroat, and putter for Martin Laird. I'm just trying to snatch it up. Obviously, I can't pick the best players for everything. But this is a lot like, I always thought about this as like the Frankenstein golfer, where, at the end of the year, I run the numbers like, oh, if you took the best driver and the best approach player, like what would that look like? And it ends up being, oh, this would be the best player in the world since Tiger Woods or something like that. So it's that mindset. And then as the tournament goes on and these guys, Scottie Scheffler hits a tee shot, you're going to start to see those numbers go into the scorecard. And then you can follow along. And then throughout the whole year, you get like FedEx Cup points basically, or like the equivalent of that. And it's just a really interesting way to do this. So it's buildagolfer.com. You can get in the Rick Rungood League. I'm interested to see how this plays out with a bigger group of people, but the Davis family has done a very good job on this. And strategy wise, I have tried to take my best players in the most predictable ways. So everybody starts from the same spot with the driver. So investing in guys that I know are going to gain there. So in most weeks, that would be Rory McIlroy, right? That would be Scottie Scheffler. And then around the green and putting, I'm willing to take on a lot more volatility, because around the green is a counting stat that not everybody has the same number of attempts, so you don't really know what you're going to get there. And then the putter, find me a hot putting week. So that's the way I've tried it for here, but I imagine that my thought process might change throughout the season. Who has the longest odds in this field that has a win? Oh my goodness. I would say, I'm going to try to do this off the top of my head. Well, you probably have like past champions in here. So Ryan Palmer, $6,000 on DraftKings and probably a few hundred. He's a winner on the PGA Tour. Duffner. Has James Hahn ever won? I don't think James Hahn's ever won. Watney's probably got a win. Jonathan Berg definitely has a win. He walked it off in Vegas one year. Piercy, I don't think he has a win. Campos does. Did Neesmith ever win anywhere? I don't think so. So, I mean, there's a ton of these guys. A ton. That's how a lot of them have even gotten into this field. Okay. Yeah. So first for the Hero World Challenge is $1 million. Second is $450. Okay. I think that's actually up from previous years. Then I think you have to save Scottie because he would have an EV pretty high over $250,000 in an 18-person field. I think that you would have to do that. If you were playing as good as Keegan, would you have picked yourself for the Ryder Cup? I don't know if that's the question we should be asking. If any other captain was the captain, Keegan would have been picked. But Keegan, I was thinking about this yesterday on the golf course. He's going to be heavily involved in this Ryder Cup one way or another, right? He says, I'm the captain. Like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be involved. I can bring somebody else. I don't have to make that phone call and tell somebody that they're not going to be there. And I can have somebody else involved in this. And then in turn, everybody knows how bad I want to play. And I'm going to fall on my sword. And I think he just gets unlimited backing in the team room. I think it's a little bit of a motivation thing to not pick yourself and to be a team player like that. So I don't know. I would have picked him, but I don't think it's the end of the world. And he's still going to be heavily involved. Mina has certainly no bias in this at all, but she thinks the new Holy Grail looks very, very good, which I appreciate. So what I've got brewing here, I'm at the end of the questions. I understand people love football. Here's I'll talk about Survivor if you want. The Holy Grail. So my goal for the mini off season and then the slightly bigger off season, which comes like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, is to have more data, more well-organized, easier for you guys to access. The next one that I'm hopefully almost done is a revision and an update to the course key stats page. And then the custom model is on the list for some revamping. Not that I think the custom model needs it. That's relatively new, but there are some things that I want to update there. I want to expand some of the options and functionalities and make it a little bit easier. So you'll see that stuff over the course of the next few months start to roll out. But I think realistically, Holy Grail just went hot like a couple days ago. And then course key stats, which should be a lot better, coming next. And then I don't want to take anything away, right? I just want to make it easier to use and make it look a little bit better. Can we have a look at the trends tool for putting? I'm on the fence about adding Valimaki and Woodland. Yeah, so I don't know how you want to look at this. I've got the last 36 rounds loaded up. I guess we can look at it this way. This would be the breakout candidates tool. So this would be golfers and their baselines and then how they're playing over the last 36 or whatever number of rounds that you want. So those guys that you mentioned, so Woodland is very much in the suboptimal area, which is like he's not hitting it as well as he usually does, and he's putting better than he normally does, which is like ruh-roh, big problem there, right? Who is the other one? Valimaki. Can I find Valimaki, or am I going to have to search his name? Sammy. I don't see you at first look, but I guess I can just find you here, Sammy. So tee to green numbers. Okay, this is pretty fair. So his tee to green numbers are very good compared to himself. He's picking up about 2/3 of a stroke to himself, and his putter is basically even to himself, which is fine. It's not great, not bad, but that's a good sign. So Sammy is probably in he's probably like one of these little dots hiding under here. He's probably 0.6 tee to green. Yeah, he's actually probably one of these over here. Right? Am I going crazy? Yeah. So that's pretty good. We did the deep dive on Lipsky. Good play. Will be the most popular in his range. What else? We can end it. I can go eat lunch, or we can talk about anything you want. NFL Survivor. I'm taking Dallas. NFL losers, I'm taking Atlanta. I'm in a loser take-all. So you have to pick a loser every week, which I think is really fun. I picked Dallas in week 1 to lose. They did. I will take Atlanta this. Did I take Atlanta this week? I think I took Washington this week. Washington, because I think they're going to be better in future weeks, and they are like 4.5-point dogs this week. So I will take that. But for the normal side of things, I am taking Dallas for the win side. All right. We might be done. Might just be lunchtime. Feels good to be back in front of a microphone. Any advice for a new putter? Yes, Jake. You don't have to go buy it from a fitter, but I would go get fit if you could. If you can find somebody near you who does the Sam putting lab. And what they will do is they'll put a little device on your putter shaft, and they will track, hey, I'm a square putter. I'm a square putter. I do not have a lot of arc in my putting stroke. I'm a square putter. You might find out that you are very bad at aligning your putter face, which I was too. They'll put a little laser on there. They'll do all that fun stuff. So if you could, all that, getting fit and knowing what style of putter you should use, I think is important. After that, it's a lot of personal preference, right? A lot of people, like, I struggle with a blade. I cannot align a blade. So I've got I use the Jailbird, right? Because I like the way it looks and I like the way and I can get it started online. So if you could get that information, then just go from there on what looks good to you. I think the Jailbirds with the O-Works face are great. I have the Counterbalance one. I love it. Oh, why don't we do this? I'm just going to mess around for you guys for a second. So watch this. So let's just run some lineups here. I rarely do this, but let's just do it. We'll just run like 20 lineups. We're going to add a little bit of randomness to the model. We'll do 36 rounds. I'm going to just reset these weights real quick, and I'm just going to do them all on weighted strokes gain total, just for purposes of this exercise here. So if we run 10 Scottie lineups, so if we lock Scottie in and run 10 Scottie lineups, let's see what else that gives us. So not a lot of fun. It gives us a lot of Sam Ryder, Vince Whaley, Webb Simpson, Andrew Putnam, Chad Ramey, Nico Echeverria. Again, I'm just using weighted strokes gained over the last whatever I clicked, 36 rounds. That's not super great, right? Let's do. We've got to figure something else out here. We've got to get some better weights in this thing. Let's do this. 20 on approach, and then put our rest on here. See if I can get anything better here. There we go. Thorbjornsen. So you can get Scottie and a bunch of youngies, right? Like Thorbjornsen, Eckroat, Suber, Hardy, Chank. I mean, are these lineups that you want to rock out? Probably not. Let's see what lineups with if we lock Cam Young and Spawn together. I do like Spawn a lot. See, now we're starting to get a little bit. See, this feels a lot better, doesn't it? Because now you get like Fishburn, You get Kevin Roy. You get Rico Hoey. You get Alex Smalley. We can ramp up the volatility as well. You get a McNeely lineup. Look at this. This is a Cam Young, JJ Spawn, Mav McNeely lineup is pretty good. Let's ramp up the volatility. And let's, I'm just going to make a couple quick adjustments here. Just kind of see what we get. Here we go. This one gets you a Colin Morikawa. So you could go Young, Spawn, Morikawa. It gives you Smalley, Grillo, Nico. Not the end of the world. 3 guys in the 7K range. Mid 7K. Yeah. It's interesting. The Scottie lineups feel really, really ugly. Deep dive on Montgomery. Montgomery has made some of my lineups. Montgomery has made some of my tiers lineups as well. He's played better. He's a fall kind of player. He's played across both the PGA and the Korn Ferry. You know, bad news that he's had to go down to the Korn Ferry. Good news that when he's gotten down there, he's played well. So not the end of the most. Who did the break help out the most? Boy. I mean, probably guys that were playing significantly under their baseline. So let's just look at the last 24 and say guys that are, let's find the best players that were playing under their own baseline. Cantlay, number 1. Justin Thomas, number 2. Thorbjorn Olsen, number 3. Quade Cummins, number 4. Probably the guys that I would say the break helped. The idea of I'm a better player than I showed at the end of the year. Now I get to reset and get back to being that, I think is good. All good. All good, Tyler. You're the man. Do you think Europe used... Oh, man. I have something coming out about that, Scott. So bear with me. Single entry, large field. Last in, Roy, Sahith, or Champ. All right. Like, let's be real here. Sahith is the best player of that group by far. His break probably helped him the most if he's healthy again. I that's where I'm going. And I think a lot of the stuff that I'm doing this week, trying to be early on maybe Colin Morikawa, trying to be early on Sahith or Max Homa to an extent, or Joel Damon. Like, I'm not committed to that for the next 50 weeks. I'm committed to that for the next, 4 days. I don't need to do anything particularly crazy. I want to try to get in, get out, and see how he does. That's where I'm at on those guys. All right. I think we're going to call it. I'm going to go eat lunch. I have leftover pizza. So, you know where my brain's at the moment. I've got leftover pizza. Mina's not here. Me and the boys, or just me and Ollie, just going to chill and watch YouTube. No, I got work to do, but I do have pizza to eat. So I will chat with you guys very soon. Best of luck. Thanks for popping on. We'll see you soon.